New York, on this July 21st, 2025. I'm Mayor Mike Ferguson. I ask that we please stand. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, Village of Fredonia has lost an employee from the Department of Public Works, or Water, I'm sorry. Mr. Jeff Lascola, whose father Chico worked for us for many, many years, passed away after a brief illness at age 56. Jeff was beloved, well-liked, and we appreciate the dedication that not only he but his family has put forth for the village after all these years. So I ask if you would join us in a moment of silence to honor Jeff. Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We call this meeting to order today at 6:01 on July 21st. August 4th. I'm probably looking at the wrong thing.
We have to do roll calls too.
Got it. Trustee Brockler?
Here.
Trustee Twitchell?
Here.
Trustee Esperson?
Here.
Trustee Wandell?
Here.
Trustee Syracuse?
Here.
We will throw this piece away right here. Okay. Approval of minutes.
Whereas members of this board have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of July 21st, 2025, and be it resolved that the board hereby approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Wandell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public portion of the meeting for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand at the microphone and state their name. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes of speaking for themselves, 5 minutes of speaking on behalf of a legitimate group. I will ask speakers to refrain from remarks that are poor in taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board. Mr. Robert Scott.
Robert Scott of Pulaski Street. This is a follow-up to my People's column of June 1st and 5 points I put out there. Now that the redacted 83-page study was available, I've been going through it, and I just would like to point out a few things just in case you noticed it or you didn't notice it. Specifically with 5.0. They gave the two options, and the option 2 was an interconnect. But when you go to 5.4.2 on page 63, it only talks about connecting to the North County Water District. I think still that may be a mistake. Having to look at the costs or whatever, that was on Appendix J. Appendix J was not included on the website. Points I want to make, though, because I only got 3 minutes. On the interconnect, the project cost on the November 23rd study was $26 million. On the May 25 study that just came out, it's down to $20.7 million. That's quite a difference. I'm sure you guys noticed that. The EDU back in November of 23 was $1,433. But even with the project costs going down, the EDU in May of 2025 is $1,837. So as one goes down, the other one's going up. As for the wastewater treatment plant, November 23, project cost was shown as $34.3 million. In May of this year, it's $34.9, a difference of 0.6, which ain't bad for 18 months. I can understand that. However, the EDU back in November 23 was $1,245, and now it's $1,407. That just doesn't seem to balance out ratio-wise. The point I want to make here is, back in a newspaper article on April 1st of 2023, an engineer said, and this is in the Observer, I've got the article at home if anyone wants to see it, it would cost $5 million to build a trunk line from Dunkirk to Fredonia, and $5 million for a new pump station. That's $10 million. And here we're talking $26 million. That's less half. I also have copies of things that Portland replaced lines. They did it for 4.6 million for 4.35 miles, and there's no way it's 4.35 miles between Dunkirk and Fredonia. How are they getting away so cheap? Hanover replaced line on 5 and 20 at $2 million. How do they get so cheap? I brought this to the attention of Trustee Esperson back in an email I sent him on a letter October 5th of 2023. I described my idea. You said you presented it to Labella. I sat down with 2 trustees on April 17th, again discussed it. If they presented it to Labella. My concern is their numbers are not jiving from 2023 to 2025. And, you know, if it's all in their ballpark, the higher their cost, the more money they're going to make. If we lower the cost because there's a cheaper alternative out there, they're not going to make so much money. So, and there's other things that come into play. The county's going to be replacing a bridge on Central Avenue over Crooked Brook, which is on the path that I described to you guys. Maybe you can join them and lower the cost. The county's going to do complete streets on Millard Fillmore Drive, where we have to go across. Maybe you save money there. I'm not sure if one hand's doing the other or comparing everything to make sure you come up with the right decision. Thank you for your time. Thank you for going over.
Mr. Derek Cristiano. I hope I pronounced it.
Yeah, it's close enough. Again, my name's Derek Cristiano. I'm a resident of Village of Fredonia and Eagle Street. And I'm here before the board tonight because I'm asking that Fredonia Police Department do its job and police the speeding on Eagle Street. I don't remember, I think before the pandemic was the last time I remember seeing the Fredonia Police Department monitoring, speed enforcement on Eagle Street, and I haven't seen anything since then. And it's just a raceway on Eagle Street. You know, children playing, pets, people walking their pets. I mean, it's clearly a residential section. People's houses are so close to the road, and it's an out-and-out raceway. It's unsafe. It's noxious. I emailed the Fredonia chief of police twice on this matter and never received a reply. I don't know who else to appeal to. You know, I'm not really sure what the next step would be, although certainly I'm willing to take the next step. But, I mean, who ensures that the police are doing their job? And this is a pretty basic thing. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. Maybe it needs to be lowered even more, but if people are not obeying it at 30 miles an hour, I don't know why they would obey it if we're any lower. But even once a week, just handing out a ticket, people get the message real quick and behavior changes accordingly. So I'm here appealing to the board to, I assume the chief of police is answerable to the mayor and the members of the board, and I'd like to see something done about it. And I'm sure I'm not the only person to feel this way, because I've had numerous informal conversations with residents of Eagle Street and adjoining intersecting streets. And the consensus is, yeah, this is a problem, okay? And it's a real public safety issue, okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Mr. James Linden.
Good evening. I'd like to remind you of a recent interview the mayor, Mr. Esperson, had with Channel 2 News. And I'd like to quote from the Channel 2 News report the mayor's statement. quote, "It could cost $37 million just for a brand-new water treatment plant, not including the dredging and everything else that would be done. We'd be looking at under $1 billion to connect with Pomfret and the city of Dunkirk. Right now, it looks like it could be between anywhere from $17 to $22 million. Now, these numbers are interesting. Now,
Jim,
the engineering,
that's actually, I wasn't part of that interview.
they said that they had spoke to you. So, okay, it was just the mayor then. Okay, thank you for
It
clarifying.
was myself and
That was- thank you for-
it was trustee Wendell.
It was,
and myself.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying.
Sorry, yep, I didn't.
Trustee Wendell,
You got
okay.
it.
Okay.
Make sure Jim gets his time back, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. And so the numbers are interesting, they keep changing. As far as the lowest cost of keeping our facilities and our owned water system, that was not the lowest cost. There's no necessary, engineering didn't say it was necessary to replace our water treatment plant. And the other costs, those keep changing too, as it was spoke about. Now, in our last meeting, the mayor tried to insinuate that our contracts with the town of Pomfret, that the village was in breach of those contracts. Who are you representing? It clearly it was a distraction, a diversionary tactic in order to take away from the view of what the resolution that was being presented to go after the county, that the two connections at the North County Water District was supposed to have functional for the village that don't function. That resolution I thought would be discussed at the workshop. It wasn't discussed at the workshop. Why wasn't it? Why isn't it back on here even after any revisions? That's for the health and safety of the village. Regardless of what goes on between now and anything that happens, it needs to be made functional. This is an issue that clearly goes over the lines of truth and manipulation. It goes towards the direction of only a certain number of government and individuals' own agendas. There's the costs that come involved. Do you know that the village's cost for water right now is some of the highest in the state at $7.60? It's in the highest numbers of the state. The average is between $3 and $5 per thousand. If you just buy the water, just the water, as it was stated, at $4.7 million per year, our water rates will more than triple. It's totally unprecedented in this entire state.
Hey, Jim,
You
it's
have a
over 3
fiduciary
minutes.
responsibility.
Jim.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Sandrio.
Mayor, Board, I'm going to ask for 5 minutes. I'm representing the Sicilian Historical Society, Fredonia.
Sam, I haven't received anything in advance. I've asked Mr. Luce to provide that in advance.
I called Mr. Luce this afternoon. He said if the mayor has any questions, you have his cell phone. Call him, and I'll wait. He's waiting for your call.
Well, I'll give this to you, but last time this happened, I talked to him and he wasn't aware of the content. But go ahead.
This is a small group, an LLC that I formed, and they're a good group of people. Anyways, regarding the agenda tonight, there's a resolution hiring a fireman from Conewango Valley. This position has health insurance, state retirement benefits, could cost the village $100,000, possibly more. The village has had a disaster with last year's budget. It spent all its fund balance of over $766,000. In addition, it had to borrow an additional, I believe it was $830,000 to complete its fiscal year. The fire department's been authorized to purchase or lease, I'm not sure which one, a very expensive ladder truck, neighborhood of $2 million, for which you'll need to borrow funds or pay rental payments, and that needs to be budgeted. As a result of overspending, this year the village had to raise taxes 52%. That has been a hardship on many people in our village. So I think the board needs to put the village on a strict austerity budget until next year, when it can see what its financial status is, and institute a hiring freeze in the meantime. Overtime can be used if necessary on a temporary basis until the financial picture is improved. Taxpayers are hurting in this village. Also, there was a time when police and firemen had to reside within the town of Pomfret, including the village. Apparently, has this been waived in our contracts? Second point I would like to make, there's a resolution to hire a contractor for repairs to the screw pump apparatus at the wastewater treatment plant. The resolution does not state that a contractor's specifications have even been prepared or reviewed by the village board. Has the village board seen a contract and reviewed it for the screw pump repairs? I'm hearing crickets. What are the written insurance requirements for the contractor, or written guarantees of performance? The resolution states that the village is authorized to pay the contractor over $25,000. Is this payment to be made before commencing work or paid in installments? The resolution does not address when payments should be made. Payments should be made only upon final inspection and completion of the work to the satisfaction of the village board. All this is missing in the resolution. There's also a resolution on tonight's board meeting agreeing to retain a law firm regarding legal services relating to a civil action or claims or settlement costs with damages associated with public drinking water. The resolution states that, if I can get this pages apart, the mayor is authorized to sign an agreement with the attorneys at no cost to the village. As the village board received and reviewed this agreement with the attorneys, should review that before you give approval. Lawyers always advise their clients, or should, that they should carefully review agreements before they are approved and signed. Has this been done? There's also a resolution to authorize Labella to prepare a Type 1 EAF, Environmental Assessment Form, on alternate 2 regarding new water mains in Water Street, interconnection structures between Pomfret and Fredonia, construction of new water tank, decommissioning, demolition of the village water treatment plant, etc. The resolution doesn't quote a fee to be paid to Labella for preparing the EAF. I think there are unanswered questions regarding alternate 1 and alternate 2, and which is the best plan for the village. Unfortunately, the village planning board has completely been left out of this whole involvement of what is the best plan for the village, and they should be included. There's also a resolution to offer the police a pension benefits under Section 375(1) of the New York State Retirement Social Security Law, retroactive to June 1st, 2025. What's the additional cost of that plan to the village? Has anybody received a report on that?
There's no
There
cost.
should,
No
pardon?
cost,
There's
zero
no
cost.
How do you know that?
Because we checked with the insurance company.
Check with our insurance
Have you
company
seen
and
that?
attorneys.
Have you seen that in writing?
There's no cost. The insurance company.
Well, I
said-
hear you saying
Yeah.
that, but have you
This
seen
isn't
it
a
in
back and
writing?
forth.
Yeah,
Well, I think you need to see that in writing.
okay.
That's a duty of that you should perform as a trustee. I mailed to the village board about the need for a public hearing on local laws which the board needs to enact before increasing water and sewer rates, and I hope the board does pass that local law. Having it in the budget does not enact water and sewer rates. It has to be done by a local law, which has been done consistently in the past, going back to the 70s. Anytime there's a sewer or water rate increase, a separate local law has been passed.
Thank you, Sam.
We are not hiring a,
Pardon?
we are not hiring a fireman, by the way. He's been working for the village for years now. He's assuming a lieutenant's position. It's not a new hire.
You're talking about the police officer?
Firefighter.
You
Or
stated
the
that
fireman?
we're not hiring a new firefighter.
You're not doing it.
That
already
resolution is
currently
not to
employed.
hire him, it's to make
It's a
him a
promotion.
lieutenant when there's no lieutenant on site. It's not hiring a new
I
officer.
think the resolution says to hire. It's the way I read it.
Yeah, no,
It's a promotion.
Promotion.
Should make it clear.
it's pretty clear.
All right. The other thing, and just take 1 second, Mayor,
We've
is
had
these meetings
departments
should be
say-
held at 7:30
Your
PM,
5
not
minutes
at
are up,
dinner
Mr.
time.
Drew.
You know, that's all you can say, young lady.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
There's some
Back to
things
our
more
time.
important than 3-minute or 5-minute time
I think it's
schedule.
important to hear from the public.
It closes this portion of tonight's meeting.
Two
You have
emails I have.
2 emails? Okay. This is correspondence, correct?
Yes. I have attached a screenshot of a comment you made on Facebook post on July 23rd, 2025. As a business owner for more than 10 years and a friend of the owner of Patton's, I believe you owe them a public apology. You are applauding an individual for bringing 4 new businesses to an empty plaza. Meanwhile, the business next door has been operating in and serving this community for decades. They have now been exposed to a tremendous amount more liability than ever before because people visiting the new businesses believe they can park in another business's private parking lot. Also, according to Chautauqua County GIS, both parcels are located in the town of Pomfret. Patton's pays more than double the amount of county and school tax than the building that holds the 4 new businesses you're so proud of. That's right, more than double. The school tax bill to the tune of over $46,000, and this is the treatment they get from their mayor. Bringing in new businesses wouldn't be at the top of your priority list if this village wasn't driving out the old business. As mentioned, as a business owner for more than a decade in this village, it is troublesome to see established businesses being treated this way publicly, while new businesses are welcomed with open arms. Kyle Muldowney, LLC member, Muldowney Brothers Lawn Care, LLC. Second, hello, as a village resident, I am failing to understand how Michelle Twitchell can sue the county for not connecting the water during the recent boil water order. For several meetings, she has stated Dunkirk water isn't safe. Is the water safe or isn't it? By trying to sue the county, she is contradicting her previous position. If the water is safe, as it must be if she's suing for the connection, then in fact she has been purposely lying to the community to push a personal agenda not in the interest of the village. I would also like to point out the lack of insurance on the dam and the potential life loss and dollar loss the village would suffer if it were to fail. Sincerely, Dave Bird, village resident.
Is there any other correspondence?
That's it for that.
Okay. Resolutions?
Correspondence dated July 16, 2025 was received from firefighter Brendan Pizak, chairman of the MDA Boot Drive Committee, requesting to hold the annual boot drive on Friday, August 29th at the intersection of Temple and Church Street.
Be resolved that the Fredonia Professional Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 2931, has permission to hold its annual Muscular Dystrophy Association Fill the Boot Drive on Friday, August 29th at the intersection of Temple and Church Street.
Second.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Correspondence dated July 14, 2025 was received from Larry Fiorella, chairperson for the Red, White, and Blues Festival, requesting the following uses of village property for the annual Red, White, and Blues Festival on September 5th and 6th, 2025.
Be it resolved that the request from Festivals Fredonia to use the gazebo and Barker Common Friday, September 5th and Saturday, September 6th, 2025 for the Red, White, and Blues Festival and 9/11 Motorcycle Memorial Run is hereby approved as set forth below. On Friday, September 5th, activities will take place first at the American Legion at 6 p.m. and then move to Prospect Street. There will be a band performing at 8 p.m. at the Fredonia Beaver Club. We respectfully request the following for Friday. Please place trash receptacles and barrels on the sidewalk at the end of the driveways at the American Legion and the Beaver Club and at the front of each establishment. This will serve as virtual boundaries for alcohol if allowed and approved, as well as keep littering to a minimum. No glass containers will be permitted outside the doors of any establishment. On Saturday, September 6th, activities around the park will include music in the gazebo, Fredonia Farmers Market, and many craft vendors, wineries, and food vendors. We respectfully request the following for Saturday. Use of West Barker Common and gazebo from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Parking meters bagged as no parking around the perimeter of West Barker Common, including both sides on Park Street and Church Street, in between Temple Street and Center Street, and the north side of Main Street starting at 8 a.m. Musicians vendors will use this space for loading and unloading. Request to suspend the open container law within West Barker Common and throughout the village in front of establishments participating in the festival to allow wineries to operate near the park from noon until midnight, and festival participants to be outside on the sidewalks in front of participating establishment. The list of participating establishments is attached for your information. Committee will provide cleanup assistance in the park after the festival. Picnic tables, as many as possible, placed in the gazebo side of Barker Common, close to Park Street, close Water Street between Main and Canada Way Streets from noon to midnight. It is imperative that this occurs for the safety and well-being for our volunteers, vendors, event attendees, and musicians. Close Church Street from Temple to Center. The churches will be formally notified. Also, close Park Street from Church to Main Street. It is imperative that this occurs for the safety and well-being of our volunteers, vendors, event attendees, and musicians. If necessary, frame tents will be set up in front of the gazebo in the middle of Church Street in the event of inclement weather. Frame tents will not require any pounding of stakes into Church Street. Trash receptacles throughout the park and in front of taverns on Water and Main Streets, which will also serve as practical boundaries for alcohol. No glass containers will be permitted outside the doors of any establishment. We will be hosting a VIP-only tent for corporate and community sponsors in Barker Common on the gazebo side of the park near Temple Street. We will be requiring private ticket attendees only and will not be selling any food or drinks in the tent. All will be complimentary for the attendees. You will receive copies of the event permit if necessary prior to the event. This will be secured by volunteers at the entrance to the tent throughout the event. In addition to the street closures above, please allow for additional closure of the alleyway parking lot driveway between DeJohn's and Monster Beach Brewery and Tiki Bar, and from Mrs. Fred's to Eagle Street. Pedestrians have tended to remain in the way of traffic, and closing these alleyways will improve safety in this area. The western parking lot is still accessible from the main entrance near Lena's Pizza via Canada Way Street. The entrance to the alleyway between Mrs. Fred's and Eagle Street will have limited access from Eagle Street. We also request an exception to the vendor fee requirements. Additionally, we request that no vendor, food, or otherwise will be allowed to operate within 150 feet of the event venues, Barker Common, American Legion, and Fredonia Beaver Club, without express written authorization from Festivals Fredonia and the Red, White, and Blues Committee. Lastly, we request a police escort out of the village and the start of the annual 9/11 motorcycle run, a police escort back into the village as the motorcycles return. Although the route has not yet been finalized, the plan for escorting out would be at 11 a.m. from the American Legion to Route 60 and 20 and return from the top of Main Street at Houghton Park back to the American Legion parking lot by 2 p.m. The farmers market will set up in the park and street as usual in front of Village Hall and will extend its hours until 5 p.m. on Saturday if they choose to. This will allow for participating wineries the ability to sample and sell their wine in accordance with New York State agricultural laws. Each winery will provide their certificate of insurance, including liquor legal liability rider, naming the village as covered under their liability policy. We respectfully request that the Fredonia Police Department set up their lighted sign to warn of pedestrian traffic on Main Street near Prospect Street on Friday and Main Street near Water Street on Saturday. I don't think that the sign is available. I will
Before we second this, there's two things. I was just speaking a couple of minutes ago to some of the festival organizers, and there's the possibility of the stage being put in front of Village Hall, which would move some of the vendors around. To me, it's not a big issue.
Was that for the Farm Festival or Red, White, and Blues?
I'm sorry, for the Farm Festival. The Red, White, and Blues.
This is Red, White, and Blues.
Issue was the picnic tables. You know, we have had a number of people that have requested picnic tables in the past. Picnic tables be taken out of Russell Joy Park for the most part, and we're sold out with people renting Russell Joy Park. So I'm not sure how many picnic tables we're going to be able to issue for this, just because over the years we've been damaged, not replaced. And again, we have people that have already secured the picnic areas in all our parks. May be difficult to get the number of picnic tables. So if it's okay, I will contact Larry Fiorella and find out exactly what they're expecting with regards to picnic tables.
There's a couple in the Barker playground that could be used, right? Because I doubt anybody's running that day. So there's a couple that
Yeah, there's a few. Probably
Okay.
just not as many as they'd.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'll go ahead and second it.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Now, before we go into the next one, this is what we were talking about, I was talking about. We're talking about moving the stage from the end of the street here, which typically actually overlapped into the street a little bit, even though they tucked it in very nicely last year, to moving it in front of Village Hall. As long as they keep the last part of the sidewalk open, even though we're closed, we still have people that, I know many of us come in on off hours to do work. I don't see a problem with it. It's not a pedestrian situation. The street is closed off at that point. It would also open up entirely the side street here, which is something that we wanted to look at last year. So just something to keep in mind.
Will the vendors be okay with that?
Yeah. So
It's just
they're
gonna
having a
rearrange
meeting
them a
outside
little bit.
tonight, so it's,
Yeah, that should be fine.
okay. Resolution?
Correspondence dated July 23rd, 2025 was received from Lauren Boyle and Greg Krauser, co-chairs of the Fredonia Farm Festival, requesting the following uses of village property August 22nd through 24th, 2025 for the annual Fredonia Farm Festival.
Be it resolved that the request from the Fredonia Farm Festival Committee to use village property August 22nd through 24th, 2025 for the 57th Annual Fredonia Farm Festival is hereby approved as set forth below. That the Fredonia Farm Festival have exclusive access and use of the East and West Barker Commons on August 22nd through 24th, 2025 for the 57th year of the Fredonia Farm Festival. That the Fredonia Farm Festival may use the parking facility off Water Street August 22nd through 24th, 2025 to accommodate the vendors and crafters' cars, trucks, and trailers. That the gazebo will be used on August 22nd through 24th, 2025 for the purposes of musical entertainment, opening ceremonies, set up for vendors, presentations, and festival activities. That the craft and food vendors be permitted to set up their booths from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. All booths will open at 4 p.m. on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. That the following streets be closed: Church Street between Center Street and Temple Street, Temple and Day Street from 6 a.m. August 22nd to 10 p.m. August 24th. Park Street between Church Street and Main Street from 12 p.m. August 22nd to 10 p.m. August 24th. Temple Street from Risley Street to Main Street be temporarily closed on Sunday, August 24th from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for the annual Farm Festival Parade. Lineup for the parade will be at the corner of Risley Street and Temple Street. Parade to start at 2 p.m. That the Fredonia Police Department provide a police escort for the parade on Sunday, August 24th, 2025 from Risley Street to Main Street. That the Village Hall parking lot, first 2 rows only, may be used from 7 a.m. August 22nd to 10 p.m. August 24th for a large dumpster, toilet facilities, and concession trucks and trailers. That any food or craft vendor not approved through the Fredonia Farm Festival Committee not be allowed to set up within 200 feet of the festival. Use of the outside electrical outlets and AC outlet on Village Hall for the use of the main stage. Use of the water hookups for the concessions. That the Fredonia Police Department bag the parking meters for no parking on Day Street and Park Street from 6 a.m. Friday, August 22nd until 10 p.m. Sunday, August 24th. That the Fredonia Police Department bag meters on Main Street by each park for the use of handicapped customers from 6 a.m. Friday, August 22nd to 9 p.m. Sunday, August 24th. That the sidewalks downtown be open during the festival to the local merchants to take advantage of the pedestrian traffic from August 22nd to 24th. That additional picnic tables and garbage cans be provided for the festival. The use of 2 parking spaces on Day Street in front of the policeman's parking lot and across from the post office for the refrigerated truck that all concessions share. That the open container law be suspended within Barker Common Park August 22nd to 24th during the festival to allow us to have Merritt Winery as a vendor selling wine slushies as they have for the past several years. The wine slushies will be sold during the normal food vendor hours from 4 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Friday, August 22nd, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday, August 24th. Please see Public Health Law 1352C, frozen dessert made with wine. That the Farm Festival Committee be allowed to post yard signs advertising the Fredonia Farm Festival at the corner of each park 10 days prior to the festival. That would be August 12th. That the large banner be hung across Temple Street from August 8th through 12th, 2025. That the Fredonia Police Department place their light-up sign on Main Street advertising the festival and warning motorists of increased pedestrian traffic starting Thursday, August 21st. The Fredonia Farm Festival will comply with the Village Board's request in regards to the following. No vendors between the sidewalks and the curbs along Route 20. The number of vendors is subject to the Board of Trustees receiving a plan showing the number and location of all designated vendor spaces to allow water hookups, August 22nd through 24th. No vendors shall sell distasteful adult items. Trash will be picked up on an as-needed basis and nothing left overnight. Walkways will not be obstructed. Electric wires will be properly protected to prevent accidents. Food vendors will be located on Church Street in front of Village Hall, and additional picnic tables will be available in the park. Festivals Fredonia will provide the Village of Fredonia, I think that should be Fredonia Farm Festival, will provide the Village of Fredonia with an insurance certificate showing the Village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of at least $1 million. Copies of the policy will be provided to the Fredonia Fire Department, Fredonia Police Department, and DFT Communications for signage.
I'll second that.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Before we go any further, please keep in mind that both of these events have requested a waiver of the open container law, but also that both events are requesting pretty significant requests from the police department. So it's important that the police department know the days and times well in advance when they're needed and when they have to be ready and prepared.
I just heard a concern from Trustee Syracuse about the light-up sign.
Yeah, the truck that the police department uses to tow it is not able to tow it, so,
The fire department said they're able to do it
okay.
with the
Okay.
chief's truck because he has the ball on the back, so if
Got it.
need be. Okay?
Thank you.
Correspondence dated July 31st, 2025 was received from Kevin Pecos, employee of the Department of Public Works, resigning his position as laborer effective August 13th, 2025.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Kevin Pecos' employment as laborer at the Department of Public Works is hereby accepted effective August 13th, 2025.
Second?
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Thank you.
Correspondence dated July 31st, 2025 was received from Kayla Sullivan, Recreation Director, resigning her position effective August 4th, 2025.
Be it resolved that the resignation of Kayla Sullivan's employment as Recreation Director at the Village is hereby accepted effective August 4th, 2025.
Second.
Before we go down for votes, I want to congratulate Kayla for a wonderful summer program, along with her team. Well over 300 participants again this year. And I want to thank Attorney John Gullo for his efforts to make it free for students, for young people this summer. I also want to thank Kevin Pecos for the great job he's done at DPW. Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Correspondence dated July 31st, 2025 was received from Michael Seary, Village Justice, requesting permission to apply for a Justice Court Assistance Program, JCAP funding.
Be it resolved, the Board of the Village of Fredonia authorizes the Village of Fredonia Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2025-2026 grant cycle, up to $30,000.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Correspondence dated August 4th, 2025 was received from village staff requesting the closure of Village Hall on August 22nd, 2025 for the Farm Festival.
Be it resolved, the board hereby approves the closure of Village Hall on August 22nd, 2025, with employees using their own time.
Second.
Before I ask for a vote, this year, we've had quite a few closures of Village Hall, which I think at times can interrupt customer service and the availability of people to be able to interact with us, pay bills, et cetera. So if there's any discussion before we take the vote on this, I mean, there are side doors right through the theater, where people get in and out without interrupting the setup or takedown or operations of the farm festival. But I would be respectful of whatever the vote of the board is. There's no discussion. Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wandell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
That's your report.
Okay, time for the mayor's report. We have an
Is there
important.
is
go
there
ahead.
another one?
That's not a correspondence.
No, it's under.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll save that.
We've got an important statement for tonight's meeting. It has come to the village's attention that adjustments to the water and sewer rates made in the village budget that recently passed were not subject to a separate public hearing and reflected a local law amending the rates in code. Please note that the village will be holding a separate public hearing regarding those adjustments shortly. Any resident who received an adjustment reflecting their updated water bill or sewer rate will receive a credit on their upcoming bill. Should you have any questions regarding this, please contact my office or the office of the treasurer. As we mentioned earlier this evening, we had a moment of silence for employee Jeff Lascola, who passed away at 56. We send our wishes and prayers to his family and his staff. Saturday, I had the privilege of giving a proclamation for the celebration of life of Mr. Dewey Winchell, who was 100 years old this weekend. Actually, his birthday's tomorrow, so we're going to go again tomorrow to Fredonia Place to present it to him. He is also a former Fredonia police officer who served the community for many years. Last Friday, I had a meeting with a professor from the University of Pittsburgh about possible project financing through the Appalachian Regional Fund. And on the 31st, we had a meeting with several Fredonia residents to discuss a number of topics, not only including water, but the direction that they feel the downtown core should be headed. On Wednesday the 30th, met with county health officials, the emergency management team, county emergency management team to discuss the past boil water order, how we can improve communications with local and state officials. We addressed deficiencies in the program and information sharing with the media. On the 29th, they attended a community meeting at Casadega Job Corps, which I am happy to say is still open, despite being originally scheduled for closure, with great prospects for a strong future. I had the privilege not only to meet trainers, but the students themselves. They are eager to volunteer for different events and services throughout the Fredonia-Pomfret area, and they will probably be a part of two of the events that we just mentioned tonight. Last Monday night, I attended the VIP reception for the Brooks Memorial Annual Golf Tournament. Obviously, due to my surgery, was not able to play, and had the opportunity to catch up with many of our friends from Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame, the Bills and the Sabres. I was also proud of the planning board for passing the plans that are available on that floor right there, and drawings of the new Brooks Hospital, which expects to be open and underway after 36 months of construction in the near future. The event was hosted by former Bill. We also had took part in Bill's Alumni Skills and Wellness session put on by Highmark Insurance, Refresco, Beck Electric, and SUNY Fredonia, as well as several other area companies. Over 100 area children took part in the event held at SUNY soccer field. The event was hosted by former Bills defensive player Gabe Northern and his team of Bills alumni and area coaches. It was great to see that many kids at Fredonia State on that field, learning from some of the best. Last Friday, I was able to meet with a local group of investors that will be delivering some great news to the community in the upcoming months. Hard to keep it quiet, but I respect their wishes at this time. I also in attendance in the passing of the new Brooks Hospital plans, as mentioned. I want to thank Code Enforcement Officer Chuck LaBarbera, as well as his team and the members of the planning board for making sure that the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and we look forward to the new project coming soon. And that is my mayor's report. Thank you. Trustee Brockler.
I'm just going to say nothing at this time.
Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, so last week I met with an employee from the Bradford Lumber Company, and we went up and toured the reservoir. He's going back up on Friday to take some measurements, and he will be, at some point, presenting us with a plan. I had a chance to meet with the WCA Home officials to discuss a potential tenant. That news should be out soon. I spoke with Attorney King, who was here for the workshop and presented the PFAS offer, for lack of a better term, to ask if their testing was in an EPA-approved lab and if their methods were EPA-approved, and he said that they were. That was based on a discussion that I had with Natalie. One of the concerns I had was if they did a test in their lab and their numbers were higher than what the EPA's testing is through the Department of Health, would that open us up to any kind of additional water treatment, which we're not able to do for PFAS at the present? And I was told that that the state would not change their. If that were to happen, the state would accept the EPA testing that they had already done through the Department of Health. So I feel confident that we're safe there. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Trustee Syracuse.
We will need to go into executive session to discuss personnel today.
Okay. Trustee Twitchell.
Yes, I did receive information from Kayla about the summer recreation season, and she states that this was a truly fantastic summer. We are very fortunate to have amazing youth and families in this community. I thank each of you for allowing this program to continue. This summer had our highest attendance yet. Each playground had at least 10 kids at each location, and Russell Joy Park had attendance of 100-plus kids each day. We had 357 kids registered in total, which encompassed all programs, not just playground attendance. Our drama program was the highest it has ever had, with 32 kids participating in the play this past Tuesday. I could not be more proud of our counselors and staff. Summer coordinator Angela McCoyak and I would like to give a huge shout out to the following: Scott Marsh at DPW for helping us out when needed, Jake Christopher and Josh Siebert from DPW. The parks were well maintained, garbage was picked up, and they always showed up when needed. Fredonia Police Department, who assisted us without hesitation when called. Fredonia Fire Department for the fire tours and helping us keep cool on field day. The amazing playground counselors and lifeguards. Mr. and Mrs. Gullo for organizing the donations for the Recreation Department, and to all those who donated. From the bottom of my heart, I truly thank you all for allowing this program to run this summer. And I just have to add that I'm very sad to see her leave because she did an extraordinary job for the past 2 years. Fabulous job.
I think the entire village congratulates her. She is a Fredonia teacher, so she doesn't get very many
Right.
summers off, so it's about time she wanted to take one for herself. Trustee Wendell.
And
Oh, sorry.
I'm not finished.
Go ahead.
Last Thursday, I received the Labella Seeker Environment Assessment Form, EAF, for the proposed new connection to the North County Water District and the decommissioning of the water treatment plant and drawing down the reservoir. I wish we had taken time to discuss the EAF before voting tonight on its acceptance. My biggest concern with the EAF is that it does not include a listing of involved agencies with whom we are to share. The involved agencies must be listed in accordance with the seeker regulations. I'd like to name the Village of Fredonia Planning Board, the Town of Pomfret Planning Board, the County Planning Board, and the County Department of Health as involved agencies. Other deficiencies in EAF are noted by the New York State Department of Conservation. These include impacts to the reservoir and its downstream waterway. The DEC states that these impacts can be described by consulting the EAF workbook. I don't know why these important impacts are not included in the EAF. The EAF states that the completion of connections to the county water district does not happen until 2028. I continue to question the county's failure to provide emergency water to minimize the impact of boil orders that may occur over the next 3 years. I have asked our attorneys to review the emergency water contract to determine if the village is in good standing to enforce the contract. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. Water Committee report, 3 updates. First, July 30th, met with the mayor and the Water Committee, Chautauqua County Department of Health, and Fire Chief Myers. The discussion points included improvements in our EMS procedures, especially between the village, the county DOH, and New York alerts. The village will, going forward, promote New York alerts and how to register for it. This is especially for the e-alerts program. Second, July 25th, I met with the mayor, Trustee Esperson, Water Treatment Plant Louis Fred, and the treasurer to discuss the water taste and odor issues that have been a source of complaints over the past, I think, 2 weeks. Also, water billing and some associated issues were discussed as well. And finally, on July 31st, I met with the water treatment supervisor, Louis Fred. This was this past Thursday. At the last board meeting, I declared that I would review water treatment plant operations, SOPs, standard operating procedures for all job functions at the plant, purpose being for continuous improvement. How can we get better and minimize any potential errors? Accordingly, I met with Supervisor Fred this last Thursday afternoon, as I said, to review plant status, initiate a higher level of review of the plant process. Please note that the goal of this effort is to find areas for improvement such that all functional processes are optimized, and especially in the domain of operator control. There's a certain degree of human involvement in the process. So my pursuit is, 1, to mitigate any potential risk. 2nd, to minimize human errors. And lastly, to maximize plant efficiency and reliability. I will be meeting with the plant supervisor in about 10 days. We'll really get started on this process, and I'm doing quite a bit on my own time. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. 2 quick things before we get to additional reports. It was mentioned earlier about lawn signs, so I guess I'll help Chuck out a little bit by reminding people that when you have lawn signs, whether it's political, whether it's for a yard sale, whether it's for any of these things, the sign must be on your lawn. Your lawn does not include the space between the sidewalk and the street, even though there's a grassy area, which we're all very kind to take care of and make nice. You cannot legally put in the village signs on that area. So they will be removed by code enforcement. So our suggestion is make sure they're on your part of the lawn, which is from the sidewalk to your house, and you're more than welcome to put those up as the time is needed. As far as New York Alert goes, we want to make clear with New York Alert, very simple. You can go in and Google New York Alert, just NY Alert, and it will give you the bigger news. You can pick Chautauqua County, you can pick Fredonia, Dunkirk. You can really pinpoint. If you have family in Buffalo, you can get any type of alert that you're looking for. But no community puts broken water mains on New York Alert. It just can't happen. It has to be an emergency. It has to be an emergency that that requires a large part of your community, as our boil waters, which even those are somewhat limited as an emergency. So a broken water main, as we mentioned last week, does not mean you have a boil water order. So there was a lot of social media flying around last week that there's a broken main in front of my house, I suppose we're going to boil our water. Broken water main has nothing to do with boil water orders. And no matter what we do with the decision towards water, you will still have broken water mains. Every community, particularly in the Northeast where we have such drastic weather changes, underground shifting, we will have broken water mains until a good portion of the water main replacement is done. I believe Scott said we're somewhere near the 40-some% range since he's been on board with DPW. It's very costly, and that will remain probably as another project along with the wastewater treatment plant once we have gone beyond what our current water decision is. So New York Alert is great for things not school closings, but road closings, storm closings, things like boil water orders. It goes to you, but you have to make sure that you put the correct phone number in. Otherwise, it may go to your voicemail or something along those lines. Again, we highly recommend it. Not that we hope we have too many more boil water orders, but you never know. Fredonia Police Report, monthly report. In June 2025, total incidents reported was 797. Fredonia Central Schools call for service was 0. Number of accidents were 18. Arrest reported 32. Vehicle and traffic incidents 81. Domestic incidents 18. And parking tickets 29. Submitted respectfully by Chief David E. Price, Chief of Police. I will continue to remind you of this until my ears fall off or somebody finally realizes that it is the law. When you walk, if someone begins to walk across a crosswalk, very simple, big sign, yellow, little person walking across it. It is the law, whether you're here or in Alaska, that a vehicle must stop and let them cross safely. It's not an elective. It's not whether you're going too fast. It's not whether you feel like it. It is the law. And we have talked to our police department about ramping up the tickets in those areas. Continually see young children doing the right thing, families, people on bicycles going to the crosswalks, waiting for traffic to stop, and watch traffic continue to blow by, or continue to blow by when someone's halfway across the street. It would not be pretty if something's happening. It's happened in the past. So please, please, please know the law. The law states when someone's waiting to cross at a crosswalk, you must stop and let them do that. So I know you're tired of hearing me saying it. I'm tired of saying it, but I've witnessed it 4 more times this week, and wouldn't want to be the parents of that person if they got hit. Resolutions.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has an immediate opening position of fire lieutenant, be it resolved that Levi Wright, Conewango Valley, New York, is hereby appointed provisionally to the position of fire lieutenant at a rate of $35.67 per hour, effective August 10th, 2025.
Second.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia received a proposal from PPR Energy Solutions to engage in good faith discussions and negotiations on establishing EV charging stations within the Village of Fredonia. Be it resolved, the mayor is authorized to sign the letter of intent with PPR Energy Solutions to develop an agreement for EV charging stations.
Trustee Twitchell, I'm sorry. Trustee Twitchell.
It hasn't been seconded yet, but I do want to
Yeah, it
have
was.
an
You just did.
opportunity. Oh, I
Yeah,
did
go
hear.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I did want to have an opportunity to say that this is allowing a private company on village property to establish something, and EV charging stations, I guess I really don't know enough about this, so I'm going to vote nay on this.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
What we're voting on here is actually authorizing the mayor to begin the process of negotiating with them, not whether or not we actually have a charging station
of
placed
intent.
on our facility, so I'm going to vote aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Be resolved that the training request of David Felt, Chief Operator at the wastewater treatment plant, as well as wastewater operator Michael Woodward, to attend the Chautauqua County Professional Water Operators Association, Sunset Bay, New York, August 19th, 2025, is hereby approved at no cost to the village.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Be it resolved that pursuant to Section 5520 of Village Law, the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $26,000 from G599 Sewer Fund Balance to H8130.2 Screw Pump Repairs.
I just want to make a note that this will not be paid ahead of time, ahead of the repairs. It will be paid once the repairs are made, and I'll second that.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye. Whereas the Village of Fredonia requires the repairs to one of the screw pumps at the wastewater treatment plant, and whereas Moley Industries, Lockport, New York, provided a quote in the amount of $25,483.30 to remove, evaluate, and fabricate a support bar for the screw pump, and whereas these repairs are essential for the village's purpose, therefore be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the payment for the screw pump repairs of $25,000, $483.3 to Moley Industries.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Once the repairs are made, I would approve this. Yes. Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Village of Fredonia agrees to retain Stag Liuza LLC and Law Office of Robert King PLLC for the purpose of providing legal services related to the filing of a civil action and/or claims in the pending settlements for recovery of costs associated with damages for the public drinking water system, and be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to sign the agreement with Stag Liuza LLC and law offices of Robert King PLLC at no cost to the village.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye. Be it resolved that in accordance with the New York State Environmental Quality Review, seeker regulations, and in its ongoing review and exploration of viable remedies to the village's water system, Village Board of the Village of Fredonia hereby announces its intent to serve as lead agency to conduct an environmental review of certain proposed improvements, alternative to, for the PWS, including but not necessarily limited to, the installation of distribution piping, system piping to 24 inches, 12 inches, and 10 inches diameter piping along Water Street, as necessary support to proposed infrastructure, the installation of 3 interconnection structures along the border between the town of Pomfret and Village of Fredonia, the construction of a new water storage tank, completed under separate seeker review by the town of Portland as lead agency, the decommissioning and demolition of the village's existing water treatment plant, WTP, modifications to the village's existing dam and reservoir to comply with New York State dam safety regulations. Be it further resolved, the village board has determined that the proposed action is a type 1 action as defined under seeker. Be it further resolved, the village board has commissioned LaBelle Associates, DPC, to prepare part 1 of the environmental assessment form regarding the project. Be it further resolved, the village board will notify the involved agencies of its intention to act as lead agency for this project and will provide them with a copy of the completed part 1 of the long environmental assessment form for review during the 30-day comment period.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
This plan does not include not to exceed costs, and I will vote nay on it.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia does hereby elect to provide the pension benefit of Section 3751 of the Retirement and Social Security Law for paid police officers as presently or hereafter amended. Be it further resolved that the effective date of such shall be effective June 1st, 2025.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
I did want to mention that there will be no additional cost for the adoption of this at this time. I know Sam had a question on that, and I'll vote aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Be it resolved that payment in the amount of $608.01 is authorized to be paid to Heath and Kathy Forster, 2 Bryant Place, Fredonia, for damages done to their property.
Second.
Just so the public's aware, clear transparency, during snow plowing, how long ago? Last November, the village accidentally took down their mailbox and some damage to their front lawn, so that's, this reimburses them for that. Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Whereas the village has been researching options to replace parking meters located throughout the downtown business district, whereas Hawk Mobile USA Limited presented the Board of Mobile Parking program that they offer, whereas Hawk Mobile USA Limited has offered to charge the village $50 per month per zone with a minimum parking transaction of $250 per month. Transaction fees include a base price times 5% with a minimum of 45-cent transaction, credit card processing fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents. Therefore, be resolved, the village board hereby approves the mayor to sign the agreement with Hawk Mobile USA Limited.
Before I second that, are we going to set a parking rate at
Yeah.
a future time? Is that the plan?
Yes.
This is merely to
Yeah.
start into negotiations with it. It does not, we're not creating new zones. There'll be signs where the meters currently are, so we're not taking away parking opportunities. There's also free parking in both lots on either end, and the side road parking would remain the same. So this is just taking to the next level of negotiating, so we can determine what those costs may be.
All right, second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Nay.
I make a motion that we enter into executive session for personnel.
Second.
That would be personnel within Village Hall.
Yes.
Yep.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you, Attorney Guglielmi. I appreciate you being here today. And we want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We want to thank Fredonia Cable Board for broadcasting this tonight as usual. And I want to thank the Board of Trustees and, of course, Alyssa. With that, we'll end tonight's meeting and ask everybody to please evacuate the room so we can go into executive session. Thank you.